Let's go back to this one. And here we go, with the Regicide Fortress. Alright, so Garda Elray. That's a good advice. That's a good advice. They should be really guarding the king, so or rather keeping the king safe. That definitely is true. So it seems like that actually Gauchos know what they're talking about on this map. Now let's turn off the Fog of War. If maybe there's gonna be some kind of stealing or whatnot, which I don't expect because it usually doesn't happen on a map like this. Because yeah, quite frankly, the boars usually aren't discovered that soon because you don't want to go right next to your base, your opponent's base, because of all the towers and whatnot. But yeah, well, the civilizations are gonna be interesting in here, as apparently that's gonna be for Gauchos. Oh, this is fun. Goths, then Spanish and Mayans. Nice combination, very nice combination. I would be expecting Sling into the Goth. That's how often it is played actually on Regicide Arena. So I'm thinking that might be something like that. You can see there's already talk how fast Exodo is gonna be advancing at 25 villages. Reasonable. It can actually make it. Yeah, actually could. It almost looked like that the scout could be actually looking at to actually keep the door open, but he wasn't. He was just basically delaying the piggy so that there is not more extra damage into LB10, which should definitely make him plenty of... Oh, he still caught him in there in the end. So he did get his little revenge in there. He didn't kill him, but still. But to finish my thought, because you could have seen that LB10 doesn't have flume. And if he, of course, just let the boar deal all the extra damage to the villager, yeah, he will be quite open to actually losing the one Willy, and that will be quite deadly in such an early game like here. So he didn't want to do that. We're right now still into Exodus, so where does he actually have the king? So far the kings should be scouting. This is a scout, blue king coming around, that's Warsteiner, his teammate who is actually joining into this game. And well, if you don't remember from the first game, Mate and Exodo are both about 1820 to 1850, and Warsteiner is about 1850 as well. So this is right now quite a good team, about 1850. And for the opponents, for new chapter, all three of them are 2Ks, so yeah, it's kind of easy to actually introduce them. 2K team versus 1850, as we're looking at those fastest units on the land. In here, just basically wobbling around and, well, sending some extra informations home. Or maybe they're just not really sending it home because they're the kings, so they are basically gathering it for themselves. So yeah, they probably don't need any kind of any kind of help in getting the lay of the land all around their bases. Otherwise, of course, they're still gonna be scouting, of course, by Mate at the bottom. And the civilizations for NCs are gonna be kind of similar in the Spanish and the Mayan. But the last one is gonna be Chinese, which is also kind of usual civilization. But also kind of tells us that NCs might not sling, because that's fairly standard combination in there. And the strength of the Goths definitely comes out when they are slung, so I'm expecting that Gauchos might be trying to use that. But in the meantime, of course, NCs should be expecting that kind of development and should be really ready for that. Alright, so 3 players advancing at pretty much the same time. You can see Exodo, Mate and Skittle, but the rest is not really all that far behind. So the amount of villages is gonna be 21, 22, 25 with the Chinese, of course. As that, and that's interesting. You can see that apparently LB10 made some kind of mistake. And he didn't really lose the villager there, did he? No, he didn't. You have seen that properly. This kind of interesting placement of the houses actually to somehow protect the gold or whatnot, not entirely certain was the idea behind it. But at any rate, it's interesting. But that he is 1 villager down is actually important because all the other players are at 22, which means that he really did make some kind of mistake. Even the enemy Spanish is at 22. So that is not a good start for NCs. And well, Gauchos potentially already have ever so slight advantage, but even small advantages like that can mount up to something pretty big. So we are looking, of course, at the advance into feudal ages, which usually results into the kings getting hidden. So let's try to keep that in mind, where the kings are actually gonna be. So that's gonna be tower 4 Exodo, land for Mate. Where do you have the kingy? In the tower in the front? No, it's not really front. It's kind of backish because it stores his teammate. You can see he's already coming forward with the market in there and with the blacksmith as well. But in the front, he's having basically just only 1 tower. So he potentially could be in kind of difficult situation in there from Skittle. This could be easily abusable. So not really all that defensive position for him. For LB10, his king is where? In the tower right next to the wood line. Yes, he is. He is in this position, which is yet again gonna be, well, slightly more problematic because he's potentially closer to the front closer to the front than for the other players in here, even though he's still in the pocket, so it's not like he could be expected, and now they're expecting to be attacked all that soon. That's probably gonna be fine for him. So you have another boss. So all the bosses in here, kind of weird. Short ones, but yeah, well, let's see what the reasons were for that, as we should be seeing the extra chat in just about a minute and a half. For Warsteiner, where is he having the king? Inside the castle, so that's gonna be basically full protection for him. At least for the time being. Would be maybe expecting that he could be put in the king in the tower somewhere at the back, as he's already right now plugging the hole, at least through palisade. But since it's in the pocket, it's yet again not gonna be that much of an issue, quite probably. As we're gonna be switching into Andorin, and his king is in... not the TC. He's actually still wobbling around, but he's gonna be apparently moving into the tower on the left. And of course, the Eagle Warrior, that's just basically kind of red herring. And he's gonna be hoping that it might be some kind of false target a bit later. You can see we're just basically right now sending the villager and the Eagle Scout out. Entirely certain, probably some kind of misclick in there. But yeah, right now he is at least gonna be scouting with the Eagle Warrior. It was kind of weird. Or is he gonna be sending him just to the tower? Yes, he is. I'm not really certain what's actually this all about. You know, like, he cannot decide where to actually have the decoy or whatnot. Interesting. But yeah, well, at any rate, it's definitely clever play. And since he doesn't need to scout anymore, it seems like he knows everything that he wants to know. Which is kinda debatable at this point. Don't exactly think that he sees everything that he should be seeing at this point. But yeah, well, apparently he doesn't care, so he's just gonna be coming forward, confident in his abilities, and well, hopefully it's gonna be enough for him. In the meantime, Elbiten is gonna be the first one into Castle Age. At 23 villages, still having one less than the rest of the players, so of course, yeah, something that you'd be expecting in there. And Skittle advancing at 27 as the Chinese, of course, quite understandable. And Warsteiner already at 25, so he chose a bit later advancing there for a bit stronger economy by the one villager in here. So let's see if it's gonna be working for him. Of course, already a bit of scouting coming into quite nice fruition right about now for Elbiten, as he has killed one of the villages, because yep, exactly, on Regicide Fortress you usually don't go for the loom all that soon. Right now you can see that Warsteiner and Skittle are coming for it just now, but already cost one of the villages in here to Warsteiner, and even though he advanced a bit later to basically give him the slight advantage of the one extra villi, to lose it like this, well, that's unfortunate to say the least. That's not something that he hoped for, but Loom is already in, so this time it should be reasonably okay, as the scout is dying for LB10 and should be also dying for Skittle also, if he's not careful. It seems like that, yeah, this dude is gonna be taking care of him quite fine. Yet another pause. Really certain what's going on. Haven't really seen any kind of extra messages in there. It's kinda ridiculous, because it's like pause every minute. So hopefully it's not always the one team, because it would be really kinda unfair and whatnot. So let's see how it's gonna be coming from now. From now on, as the players are of course in the castle, it's just gonna be dropping the extra TCs, and we're gonna be waiting for the first armies, which the first armies are definitely gonna be some conquistadors from the Spanish. So it'll be 10 already preparing to actually come forward. For the opponents is gonna be mate. For the mate, well, he's red, he already does have one of the scouts looking around. This is actually quite nice usage of the extra buildings to plug the holes and whatnot. Definitely nice thinking in there, but he should be already thinking about also prolonging the walls, because he needs to protect himself and his ally as soon as possible, because, yeah, exactly as I'm just saying, and as you're exactly looking, yet another pause, like, what's going on, guys? Is this like a turn-based strategy or whatnot? Nobody's coming into the game room, so it should be... I really don't know what. Hopefully we're gonna be learning soon, and it's not gonna be really that prevalent in the game from now on, because it would be kinda boring to be having so many pauses in here. But yeah, well, you can already see that nobody is walling all that much. Even some Huscarls are coming up from the Goth player, but he will be needing some significant assistance very soon, and because, of course, he is gonna be out of walls. He cannot really rebuild them, and he has already even deleted them himself, because he needs to somehow move his economy forward, which is slightly curious. Maybe would have expected him to go a bit more safely into the backside, because he cannot exactly build the walls. But yeah, well, looking at this position, it's looking... what is actually going on here? If actually somebody can speak Spanish, maybe you will know and can actually let us know in chat, because yeah, I don't really speak Spanish, so unfortunately I don't know. It seems like there are some kind of issues not even Gauchos are happy about, so hopefully it's not really anything unfair or whatnot. But this is apparently looking like a 2 versus 1, as all the plumed archers, they definitely wouldn't be the correct unit. Yet again? This is not really fun. Beaten finally checking into the game room, but I don't really think this is any kind of problem. Or rather, I just don't know who is actually right now pausing, so let's just reserve judgment. Let's just reserve judgment, and hopefully it's gonna be just alright for all the players in here in just a matter of moments. At any rate, we are looking at Andorin right now moving a bit more to the south. It definitely makes plenty of sense, because as a Mayan, he cannot really fight. He cannot really fight against all the Huscarls. It's gonna be definitely much better suited for the Conquistadors. Yep, right now already there. And that will mean that potentially there's gonna be a bit more spamming of them by Exorok, could be slowing him down a bit, as he's coming for the Loom right about now, and the Squires as well. So he is basically just confirming that that is gonna be the unit of choice for him, which is not that much of a surprise. That's of course quite heavily expected, and only kind of surprise could be if he's actually slung or not. Let's check into the achievements. Yes, Warsteiner into Exoro, exactly. It's gonna be pocket player, sending plenty of resources into Goth, and that is exactly what we expected, and what might be making plenty of sense and plenty problems for NCs, but since they are kinda doubling him, yeah, both LB10 and basically also Andorin are right next to him. You can see he's coming all around, trying to basically slow his economy. They are doing a pretty great job of that to somehow nullify the sling, and let's see if it's gonna be working for them, because they should be realizing something like that is happening, as we are of course in here with some Conquistadors from Maid, who is gonna be basically the other flank, who is gonna be fully playing for Gauchos. But yeah, unfortunately not having all that much of luck, trying to find something to kill. But maybe, through the scout, he could be actually looking at those woodliners. They are gonna be definitely getting very close from about here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they should be shot at from about here. I'm thinking they're gonna be in range. As in here, those definitely are, but they would be a bit harder to actually deal with. So this pausing is definitely ridiculous. There has to be something completely wrong with with the game. But I don't really see anybody complaining at all, so like, what's going on? It's really weird. That is really weird indeed. Unless it's some kind of spectator bug. Not sure. That they're not really pausing, but there's just a kind of lag. And it just manifests like pauses in here. Well, maybe it could be. Don't exactly know. But yet again, all I can say is that I hope that it's gonna be a bit more fluent from now on. In the meantime, of course, those plume touches are gonna be kinda owned by all the Huscarls that are, of course, getting up in numbers. So, yep, you can already see they are trying to basically kick them away from the front. Ah, okay, thanks Quick for the news. So it seems like that it's actually just basically good old lag, not any kind of pausing or whatnot. So that's kind of a new one. It has to be really bad lag, because I don't really remember seeing that kind of message that the game is waiting or whatnot without a pause. So that has to be really heavy lag, which is unfortunate, but hopefully the players are gonna be able to come through that, and we already see that the armies are getting ever stronger, as Skittle is having prepared some Chukonus. Finishing with the wall in definitely is needed and is exactly in time, because the red guy is just right now gonna be scouting around the opponents, and he's trying to see if he can potentially maybe at least kill a few villages, but it doesn't seem all that likely. So far NCs are really playing quite plenty of attention, or rather paying quite plenty of attention, and also LB10 is sending a few units back here and there. In the meantime, of course, the archers at the back are caught up with by the Huscarls. That's gonna be a pretty heavy slaughter. Yeah, and I'm kinda questioning why Andorin is actually insisting on going onto Exoro, because right about now they should be probably realizing that this is not gonna be working, A, and B, that there is a sling going on. At this point they should be definitely knowing, and I'll be just switching into the pocket player. Just going through pocket, trying to break in. He's going to be having very unfortunate gold, and even though he does have some kind of cover of the castle in there, it's not really awesome. And the archers from about here can quite safely shoot on the gold mine in that, so why not? And especially looking at the woodline at the very back, it could definitely be coming in or rather under attack fairly easily, so I'm kinda questioning why New Chapter are not really playing this slightly better. This is really kind of like banging your head against the rock. So not really thinking that's gonna be yielding a victory for you in the long run. But let's see. Maybe even it will. Because at the same time, the strategy could also be for NCs. They just kinda need to keep them busy. Need to keep Exoro busy, because of course Warsteiner is not gonna be present at all. And if in the meantime they can somehow significantly damage Mate, or maybe just basically kill him right off, then that will be enough. That will be enough, because at that point even the Slung Goth shouldn't be enough to basically deal with the opponents, because it could be 2 versus 3, and yeah, you can kinda guess the numbers, and the math doesn't add up for a victory for Gaucho from there. So a lot of flaring just going on right now. Of course, this is looking like actually Andorin telling his teammate, and ooh, careful. Paying enough attention luckily for him, but not enough, not nearly enough. He did hide all those lumberjacks very nicely, but unfortunately the farmer, yeah, well, she did not retreat to safety fast enough, so she's gonna be dying. So of course we're just gonna be switching onto the right side to see where finally the development is coming from Exoro. We have killed one of the villagers who was apparently coming for a bit of walling on, yeah, continuing of course from the siege workshop as well. That was a quite nice sneak in there, and considering the fact that actually Exoro has just now deleted all the walls in here, this could be fairly dangerous. This could be fairly dangerous. The king is there. Yes, he is. And this could be basically ready in itself for a very nice and nasty sneak. Very nasty sneak for Gaucho. And they definitely will need to be paying attention to that, because that could be really quite problematic for them. And problematic in a way that they will be insta-losing the game. If they lost the slung player, yeah, well, good luck. Good luck indeed. In the meantime, Chukonos at the bottom are exactly gonna be attempting what we talked about a bit earlier, trying to basically somehow annihilate Mate sooner than actually the slung player is gonna be annihilating his opponent. As those Huskars are trying to find a way into an enemy base, but so far not having any kind of luck, which means that they are more or less useless. More or less useless. In the meantime, of course, Beaten is also doing quite a lot of good job with raiding with the Conquistadors and also kind of defending, because you can already see that the red Conquistadors are nowhere to be seen, which means that they have been probably slaughtered somewhere nearby. I so far don't really see the graveyard for them, but it's looking quite likely. It's looking quite likely, and that means that the army, of course, from Andorin is potentially gonna be open to go somewhere else. I really kinda don't like this passive approach by him. Just send it forward into the pocket, like, why not? Why not? If you're not having luck with the Goth, then just basically send it somewhere else. It's kind of weird that actually Andorin is playing it so safely, but maybe they're just basically having the strategy as I said. The Conquistadors and the Bloomtouchers are gonna be keeping the Goth busy, whereas in the meantime Skittle is gonna be trying to beat Mate in a fair fight, in a 1v1, and see, and they're gonna be seeing if that is gonna be working for their team. Could be, as the castle is already being dropped on the red player. Where is his king actually? In here, in the tower. That's where he's gonna be, but he's kind of wide open. You can see there's a basically highway inside the base, so maybe some kind of sneak could be happening easy as well. It definitely could be, but it seems like it's not gonna be needed all that much. Just go for siege workshop extra, of course. Produce a few rams, get some petards to get through the walls, and there you go. You're gonna be with plenty of archers and plenty of annoyance in the Red's base, because Red so far doesn't have any kind of army. He's having just a few Conquistadors being set for a bit of raiding to the top, as in the meantime, yep, even a monk is being built by the Mayan Andorin, and that might not be such a bad idea, because if he can actually convert a few Huskars to his side at the crucial battle, you can see it's already second converted for him. It's really gonna be helping him quite well. It could be not a bad combo. Not a bad combo. Bit of a meat shield in there, supported by all the fire. That could be working. That definitely could be working for him. Especially since we've seen also a bit of a switch by Exoro into the Spearman. Right now, Perfusion coming up with guilds, 2 men so on edges. For Exoro as well. As he's of course in the Imperial Age, but the Imperial Age is coming for Elbitan also. And well, you mustn't forget that other Imperial Ages have already hit for Mate and for Skittle. So yeah, the Skittle versus Mate is gonna be quite an interesting fight, but so far it has to be said, it's looking that actually this is quite well in hands of Skittle. And is he actually getting slung? There was a good note. No, he isn't. They're actually thinking that there might be a sling, or they were actually talking about themselves. That would be kind of weird. Boomea Seba, stop sling. Ah, he's just basically talking stop sling. And that he should be booming and basically coming into the game himself, which is kind of interesting choice right now and should be playing into the hands and cards of NC. Because once there is not any kind of significant advantage for Exodo, the sheer numbers are just gonna win. The sheer numbers are just gonna win. If it was a normal 1v1, the Goths with a sling against a Mayan, that would be kind of easy battle, even though easy battle. I do remember a game last season, it was... One of the Mayan was Winchester, and he was playing against somebody also highly skilled. And he was playing Goth on Arena. And they were both slung. And actually it was an hour-long battle. As opposed to what you might be thinking, that the Mayan should be losing easily. No, anything but. When he is in skilled hands, like for example Winchester's, then well, you can drag it quite long. Of course he lost in the end. It's just kinda inevitable, I'm thinking, unless you are way, way better than your opponent. But the skill with which they were used, that was quite an interesting battle right there. Quite plenty conversions going on. Quite plenty conversions here, as the battle is not really looking great for the purple player. As at the bottom, finally the breach is just about to happen. As of course, even Mate is switching into horses right now as a Spanish, definitely makes sense. And hoping that he can get paladins fast enough, but I'm not thinking he can. Yeah, he definitely cannot. He doesn't have the resources for that at all, which is of course a pretty big problem. As for the opponent, for Skittle, this is already Elite Chukonos. He doesn't have... yeah, he does have rocketry. Yeah, I think he does have rocketry. He has +4 already, so I'm thinking he does. Which is of course gonna be quite a huge slaughter of all the horses. As even though the horses, the cavaliers are fully upgraded, you can see +4 armor in there on them. They're just not gonna be in enough numbers, and the Chukonos, once you get the proper numbers, yeah, it's always very hard to deal with. In the meantime, though, plenty of trebuchets, very plenty of them, quite a lot. That's gonna be getting rid of one of the castles, which is gonna be slowing down things a bit, at least for the moment, as the castle is just behind it. And well, yeah, the Rams are still gonna be coming through, and the Chukonos definitely seem not to be dying all that much, besides those 2 headshots in here, and they are even going to be able to get rid of all the trebuchets, so... Getting rid of Chukonos with trebuchets, that's unfortunately a bit of a desperate mode, but yeah, it's not like he has all that much more here, and he unfortunately cannot produce enough horses in time in there, it seems like. Otherwise, at the top, yeah, Andorin is just basically scouting around, trying to find a way, which is definitely exactly here, through the palisade wall. For this amount of plumed archers, this should be fairly easy to kill, like really easy, and get right inside the base. This is definitely something that should be done for the green player. But yeah, well, in the meantime, there's also quite a bit of fight right next to his base. He does have quite a nice protective castle, and apparently another one is just under construction. Well, he's definitely receiving quite nice help from LB10. That was a nice split right here from the Onager shot, as he's gonna be getting rid of it just about now. And the combination of Huscarls with Halberdiers against, of course, those Conquistadors in here that are already elite. It might be working, but in long run probably not all that much, because there is also a bit of assistance from Andorin, and much more importantly, Exodo is not slung anymore. It is stuck on edge in here. Yeah, it needs to be getting somewhere a bit different, so it's gonna be a bit intensive micro battle between all the onagers and all the ranged units in here. So potentially there still could be some kind of way for Exodo to make his opponents pay, and it's gonna be quite costly and quite difficult indeed. As of course we are looking at the castles falling down in the red's base, exactly as you have seen, as the units unfortunately for it just weren't coming fast enough, and that means that the yellow player was just getting rid of him a bit too efficiently. So coming forward, that's probably gonna be for the stone for him. And where is the king? Is he here? Apparently not. Ah, here he is. So let's wait for potentially right about now the striking on him. Right now Red should be of course fleeing with the king. He cannot really let him be in this position, and this is basically the best spot for him to flee from this position. Yeah, he should be definitely coming away, but he isn't, because the GGs are gonna be called in the meantime, as Mate is just kinda fair and square beaten, and with LB10 coming forward, you can see he didn't even get any kind of interesting fight in the battle here. But yeah, well, he did play a significant role in actually stopping Exodo. That was nicely played by NCs. They were stopping the opponent in his tracks. even through the sling that he was receiving. To slung off wasn't any kind of insta-win for Gaucho B, as good cooperation and combination of plumed archers with Conquistadors was just enough to stop all that. Yeah, well, that's just some next level GG by LB10 in here. But at any rate, this is gonna be also resulting into 2-0 victory for NCs in the match, which is gonna be firmly putting them into the first spot in Division 2, or Division 3 already, coming into the playoffs. And for Gauchos, they're gonna be at 4 losses, which I'm afraid might be putting them into bad spot for the third ones, because only 4 best third places out of 6 are gonna be advancing into playoffs, and there are plenty 3 losses, third places. So I'm thinking actually the 4th loss might be a bit too much for Gauchos. Not really certain. There's still some kind of games to be decided, and maybe they just gonna be making the cut. Maybe they will. But very nicely played. Nice attempt by Gauchos. But well, nicely countered by NCs. It was their home map, so of course they were kinda knowing what's potentially going to come. Yeah, well, the Paladins unfortunately didn't even come into play. So let's check the achievements. That is gonna be LB10 having the highest score. Well, he was in the pocket and booming without being under attack, so it kinda makes sense, so yeah. But I definitely liked how Skittle played on the left side. He basically just beat mate on 1v1 without any kind of problem. So nice job on that. Even this sling didn't help Gauchos to overcome the right side. And it was Goth against basically almost double archers. Even though, of course, gunpowder units are not exactly archers. Slightly better. Okay, GG.